Hello everybody, sorry about that. Before I noticed my Instagram feed was horrible, absolutely horrible. And if at any point my feed drops out, please let me know immediately today, because I actually want to have a decent quality stream for you all. And if this is working great, just let me know. Good morning, Dylan, how are you? Just coming live, and I'm doing some mini reads, and here for any of you to ask whatever questions you want to know, whatever you want to ask. Just ask away. I've put my morning aside for everybody on the collective, here for Facebook and here for Instagram. Everybody is notified that I'm here, and I've just had horrible issues all morning when it comes to tech. But I'm currently coming live from underneath my loft bed. So I actually built this myself out of my beds from a childhood. I'm currently stuffing my face with popcorn, and I apologize to everybody who will be watching this. I am on Instagram, I am not on Facebook. I will be smoking, I will be talking, I will be relaxing. This is my private Instagram, this is my private page, and I'm here for all of you, and this is exactly who I am. You get me as I am on Instagram, and this is how I will be from a lot of the time on out, except when I'm on Facebook, I'm a lot more professional. Here, it's a lot more personal because, as I said before, it's my private Instagram. So I hope none of you are against medicinal marijuana. Absolutely, absolutely. Removed the beds, and as you can see, part of it is actually right here, and it's used as a support to hold it all together. And that holds the back, and then the two sides. So one side's actually screwed and mounted into the wall, and this side here is just, yeah, it's my support, my window. It's where I've got my lovely little lights, everything. But if you've got any questions, anything you want to know about me professionally, feel free to ask. And if you want, I'm more than actually happy to bring you into my live, because I want to bring my followers and my fans into my live streams. And that way you can ask me whatever questions you like, what it's like living off grid. And if you want to be a part of my live, I'm more than happy to send you an invite as soon as I have this. So if you'd like, I'm more than happy to send you an invite. Just say yes or no, and if you'd like to be a part of this live, Dylan, I'll check the invite straight through to you now, and you can actually start asking me questions on a personal level, face to face, word for word. Oh good, you don't have to. But I am also doing some card readings today too, if you'd like some card pulls. So I'm here just to talk to everybody, let you all get to know me better, and pull some cards. I'll be doing 24-hour pulls, so just simple 2 cards, which is reading the energy of the day. And then the second card is how to deal with the energy of the day. It's essentially what you should be doing, what you should not be doing, how you should be approaching the situation or not. So if you'd like some cards pulled, I'm more than happy to pull some cards for you as well. Alright, let's see what the energy of today's got in store for you. And what you should or should not be doing. Alright, so your energy of the day is strength. This here is signifying that everything is going to work out for you today. All you've got to do is stand proud, stand strong, and not to procrastinate. Procrastination seems to be a little bit key to you, but at the same time, I find you're a little bit of a perfectionist as well. So correct me if I'm wrong, but the strength card signifies perfectionism as well, especially when it comes into an energy reading for the day. And what you need to do, or what you need to assess to be able to come into hindrance with this. Hello, Jake. How are you? Feel free, if you want to be a part of my live, I'm more than happy to send you an invite and you can have a face-to-face with me as well. But as I was going to this, is the card of strength is showing me that you've got slight procrastination issues. And in order to get over it is actually the Eight of Cups. What this is telling me is rely on your friends today. Your friends are actually there to support you, and they're the ones that are pushing you a lot. So stop taking their hindrances and take their word literally, and then you'll be fine. So I hope that that's resonated with you. Stop procrastinating, do what you need to do today, and let your friends assist you instead of going, no, I got this. Let them in and let them assist you. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. The tarot can be terribly blunt sometimes, so I do apologize. But have you got much planned for the day, or are you just at uni again? Just class at 2. So you're just relaxing this morning. Got nothing better to do except for watch Instagram and scroll through Facebook and the internet. Thank you so much. I actually designed them all myself. This one here is known as the Vagvasar, or the Viking Compass, and then we've got the Futhark alphabet, which is around it. So these are the Norse runes, which a lot of people use in fortune telling. I've actually got my own set made in tiger's eye stones. This here is the representation of the full lunar cycle, and then the pentagram, which is the representation of balance and everything else as it goes all the way across. Then I've also got this here, which is the symbol of Gaia embracing her children or hugging all of the children of the planet. I don't do it for fun. I actually do it professionally, and I am a spiritual teacher as well. I do also have a library here at my house for anybody and everybody that follows me. If you want to get resource materials, I've got the books, and if you're overseas, I'm more than happy to send you page after page after page via photo conscripture. If you're after specific parts of the books that I've got in my library, I will update essentially a list of the books that I do have. I also do on my back, down my spine, have all my chakras tattooed as well, which I did design myself. And I'm also in the process of working on getting a Yggdrasil on my back. I've got the design concept already drawn up, and all I got to do now is just get it drawn to fit my body shape and then tattooed. So is there any questions you actually wanted to know about the tarot? Feel free to ask, because that's what I'm here for this morning. I'm here for you just to get to know, ask any questions that you want to know about, because I do like to consider myself a bit of a spiritualistic and metaphysical specialist. I am no expert, and I have much to learn, and I learn every single day. There are people out there who are more qualified than me, and there are people out there who are willing to learn from me, and I'm happy to share all of the information that I do have up here on this noggin of mine, because I have the horrible habit of never writing anything down and just absorbing it and then spitting it all out as word vomit. So if there's anything that you actually wanted to know about the tarot, feel free to ask. Because I've been reading cards for almost a decade now, so almost 10 years. And professionally for about 6 to 7 years, and officially professionally online now for the last 2 months. So I've been doing a lot of private seminars and stuff like that, and now I'm actually doing it for the entire community and for everybody. Removing myself from the broom closet, as many would say. I was born and raised in it. I come from a family and a culture of travelers. We are very druidic by nature and very earth-based. My nana taught me a lot of what I know, and a lot of our energy and a lot of our magic actually comes from nature in itself. We draw everything from the earth in order to help us get our messages across. We're energy weavers almost in a way. Thank you. So I'm blessed with a lineage of knowledge and not just scripted knowledge. So I've always had family that I've been able to go to for help and advice. However, I am the last practitioner in my family because no one else does practice. And I apologize for stuffing my face with popcorn. However, I have been working all morning, and I literally, I also might have the bit of the munchies as well, but I'm peckish. I haven't had breakfast, and I've just had lots of coffees. And after I do this live, I will be getting into my garden. Hello, stranger. How are you? I hope you're well. I'm offering this to everybody in all my lives, now and future. If you want to be a part of my live, I'm more than happy to send you an invite, and you can actually have a personal one-on-one conversation with me, get to know me a little bit better. Ask me any questions that you've wanted to ask, because it would be great to talk to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, Auntie Julie, how are you? I'm just having plain triple buttered popcorn covered in salt. Nothing fancy, nothing interesting, just salty goodness. Got a nice big bowl of it. I would share, but unfortunately, it doesn't go through the camera. Best thing is, I made it fresh, straight from the stovetop. Yeah, so if you got any questions for me at all, or if you want some cards pulled, I'm more than happy to pull some cards for you. Hello again, darling. Is this connection much better than it was before? Because I had to get rid of the last video because I couldn't see either of us or even the beautiful Jen at all after I'd uploaded it to my Instagram IGTV. So I'm hoping now that I'm on the Wi-Fi, this is a much better, clearer connection. And yes, absolutely. I made this one, I made this one, and I even made this. It's my job. It's one of my main jobs is I'm a jeweler and a spiritualistic artist. I also make ritual tools, ritual wares, and ritual garments. So I work with anybody, no matter what religion you are, whether you are Muslim, whether you are Christian. This is key to our speciality. Sweet. This is the speciality of the traveler community is because we don't fall under any said religion and we don't fall under any said fate. We work with all faiths, all religions in order to blend and live wherever we must be and work for whoever we must be in order to make an income or a profit for us to continue traveling. So that means I can make a blessing blanket for a Christian baptism. I can also make a blessing blanket for a Wiccan baptism or a Wiccaning, as many would say. And I actually do have one of those coming up for a very close and dear friend of mine, which I'll be performing on her daughter who's recently been born. And I am so terribly excited for that. That's so much better. That's because before I was using my phone signal because my Wi-Fi had run out. So just apologize. I'm going to quickly have a smoke. So my home Wi-Fi actually ran out, so I had to recharge that before going back onto this live stream. And that was the issue that I was running into all morning, was because I was just trying to barrel on ahead as let my ADHD take control and just carry on through it all going, yeah, I'll be fine. I've got good signal. I'm going to upload things at the same time. It didn't work. So what I did before I jumped on this live here was I went online, I recharged my plan, and now I'm running off of a Wi-Fi connection instead of just a cellular network connection, so that way I'm not bottlenecking my phone. Because when you live off grid, it's awfully hard because I don't have phone lines like you all do in the city. I'm literally connected to absolutely nothing but my solar panels. I don't even have plumbing. Absolutely, I can do a read for America. Let's find out what the fate of the country has in store for today. The Eight of Wands. This card here is the minor arcana platform of the card Strength. What this card here is signifying for America is you need to be strong today, and you need to have those discussions. We all know the discussions that need to be had. You need to have those discussions in order to have the strength to carry on through. So if that makes sense, for both you and Cheyenne, I'm guessing you know what I mean, but your country needs to have those hard conversations because they're being completely ignored. And you know what? That conversation is being ignored globally. If I was to draw another card for a global scale, it might say something very similar. Let's find out. Absolutely. Temperance. We need to have that conversation. We need to have that. We need to shine light on this situation. The light needs to be shone, otherwise, we will be lost. All good, hun. That's completely fine. What's for dinner? Absolutely. I think all the countries across the entire globe are trying. It's good to have you a part of this live. Oh, if I wasn't a vegan, that would taste delightful. I do miss salmon. Not gonna lie, I do miss salmon. I feel like you should share it with all of us. Like, give it to all of us on the stream and just share, share, share. Share the salmon. Actually, it's dietary. It is also spiritual as well, but predominantly it's actually dietary. So I'm severely protein intolerant. My stomach doesn't, so you know how when people have lactose intolerance, their stomach is unable to break down the lactase, and so that's an acid reaction in the stomach that just doesn't take place. So for me though, I have a major issue to all proteins. So I can't just break down lactase. I can't break down anything that's not of a plant origin. My sulfuric acids or acidic stomach acids are not actually powerful enough to digest meats, eggs, milks, all of those sort of products that come directly from animals, and they actually make me terribly sick. They cause my body to store vitamins and minerals in the wrong orders. I tend to store a lot of iron if I consume meat instead of releasing it, so my body can't actually break it down. So for me, it's easier to completely remove all forms of proteins and all forms of animal products from my diet. So that way I can actually have a healthier and better lifestyle. And going vegan, I've now been able to start put weight on. I've now started to put on muscle density because I've never been able to get past 70 kilos, and I've always been terribly, terribly sick my entire life because of it. But now that I've gone vegan, I'm now at 75 kilos. I'm putting on a lot more muscle definition. My skin is no longer white and clammy. I'm actually maintaining and getting a tan, which is for me remarkable because I used to tan all the time as a child, but then I just started to get really sick. This is something that happened when I was started happening around about 16 to 17, and it just gradually got worse. And for many, many years, I was diagnosed as hemochromatosis. So I was diagnosed as having high elevated levels of nutrients and iron. And then after a while, I found another doctor and he was absolutely brilliant. We started to get all my blood sent away. And then we finally found out what was going on. And it was the fact that I'm just medically a vegan. And it was a little bit hard to absorb at first because I do enjoy my meat, even though ethically I would rather not eat it. But I do enjoy my meats. And it's very, very, very hard to avoid cheese and dairy. So even though I can eat it all, I really shouldn't. And I do indulge a lot in cheese, unfortunately. And on the occasion, I will have a little bit of sneaky meat here and there, but I always, always regret it. I'm the vegan that doesn't want to be vegan, but likes being vegan. If that makes any logical sense at all. Cheese is my enemy and my best friend. So I'm A negative. I have two as well. I don't know if my blood type has anything to do with why I'm like this. Oh, really? Care to explain? That makes me very curious. I'm actually curious. Is there any research into suggesting why that my blood type has a big play on this? Because I've only very, very, very briefly touched onto it. Mm, that would be absolutely great. I do have to say, there is one thing when you do go vegan, the insatiable munchies you have all the time because you're never quite full. And because I work on the land a lot, I'm doing a lot of extraneous energy and extraneous exercise. So I'm constantly burning energy and I'm constantly needing to eat. I am just so hungry that I've pretty much turned to a full carb diet in order just to stay full. I have pasta every single day just to stay full. Yeah, it took me a very, very long time. I've only had this diagnosis now for just over a year now. So before that, yeah, I thought I was healthy and I was looking healthy and I was doing great, but I was never healthy. But now I am, and I can't say that like it's literally the best I've ever felt in my entire life, even when I was a child. I've never had this much energy, I've never had this much motivation, and I'm because I also live with chronic illnesses. Type O is the oldest blood type, the caveman. So me is type A and B are evolved, which thrive off more food. Ah, okay. Well, that makes sense. But yeah, so as I was just saying, I live with a multitude of invisible illnesses. So I've got Schimmelmann's of the spine as well as severe scoliosis. So I try, like, my tattoo is one of the things that I've actually used to help hide my scoliosis because it is quite severe because I go like this, but I also go in and out. So I actually do have a slight hunch, which I am terribly embarrassed about. But unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about that except have a very invasive surgery. And until that day comes, I am not doing it. I've also been diagnosed with FIA of the hip because of my GP. So that is the irregularity of the hip joint. So instead of being nice and round, mine are actually ovulated, and the hip joint itself has a little bit of a tibular bone that goes into where the hip joints are, and that's actually overgrown in my example, and which causes me to have constant clicking in my hips. And one day that will need surgery. All of my conditions will require more surgery in form of treatment. But until that day comes and the day that I can no longer walk or do anything and have to rely on the walking stick that I've had since I was about 17 years old, I'm not getting it done because of how terribly invasive it is. So now that I've gotten on top of my dietary issues, a lot of the inflammation that those illnesses cause for my body have significantly reduced, as well as this. This here is actually my saving grace. Without this, I would be completely, utterly bedridden a lot of the time still. Nah, that's completely fine. Scoliosis is a horrible, horrible illness to have, and it's just a bone deformity at the end of the day that causes severe complications. So not only is my spine spent, what Scheuermann's is, so Scheuermann's is another spinal disorder that I have. Scheuermann's is caused due to essentially kind of neglect of the posture growing up. So the spinal column in your body is made up of multiple different vertebrates. My vertebrae are all irregular in size. None of them are quite the same size. I have irregularities where they're like this. I have some that are like this. I have some that are even misshapen like this. So I have full irregularities of my spine, which cause constant cast buildup, which requires me to go to a chiropractor quite frequently. However, I was blessed with being born as very hypermobile. So I'm double jointed in my entire body. So I can actually crack my own back. And because I can crack my own back due to me being hyper flexible, I no longer require the chiropractor, which is very beneficial. But one day, when I'm no longer able to do that, I will have to see a chiropractor at least 2 times a week just to get my back to straighten out, release the pressure, release everything. And I also have to get quite regular massages. But living all the way out here in the country, off grid, that's not a possibility as well. So that treatment plan then goes out the window. So I have to grin and bear it a lot of the time. About 2 weeks ago, I had a full flare up, as you would remember, Shellyanne, where I actually completely, due to a muscle seizure and a not caused by my Scheuermann's disease, lost the use of my left arm. And it's generally often cases my left arm and not my right arm because of the way that my scoliosis curvature goes. So I will actually, from about this part of my back, completely seize up, lose the mobility of my neck and the mobility of my arm, which is why massage therapy is what's required for Schumann's. But yes, I absolutely agree. And the surgeries that I've been told that I would require as I get older, as you are right, are definitely not guaranteed to fix anything and can sometimes actually cause more complications because I've got Scheuermann's. It makes putting the rods in my back to straighten my spine quite dangerous because of the irregularities of my spinal column in itself. So being able to crack my back then would become near impossible because I would have two metal rods in my back, which would then leave me in constant excruciating agony. So right now, my best choice of action is actually just to live as I am and remember to keep my back straight, try to get massages as much as I can, if I can afford them or even get into the city. And with the state of COVID and everything at the moment, I would rather not actually set foot into a highly populated area. It gives me terrible anxiety. But being out here and being physically active as well is another treatment to Scheuermann's because if you're constantly active, it doesn't allow it to seize up and it keeps the inflammation down. So leading a very active lifestyle is actually what is keeping me going and keeping me very good. But some days I am going to crash and I will crash really bad. And then other days I'll end up in severe, excruciating agony where I wake up literally sometimes in tears because I can't move. And then I have to get myself up, start getting myself moving, and release all of the tension in my back. But yeah, the life of the spoonie, there is a lot of us out there. And unfortunately, there's not much we can do about it. And the worst part is we get terribly stigmatized because, as to you all, I look like a very fit and healthy young man. But the reality of that is the furthest from the truth. I'm fit and healthy because I maintain myself to be fit and healthy, but there are days where I lose the ball. And if it really, honestly, if it wasn't for the medicinal use of marijuana, which unfortunately is highly illegal in my country, and I just do not understand why, I would be on 15 different types of medication still and barely able to get out of bed. It would be horrible. I stopped those medications at least 8 to 9 years ago when I found this lovely green lady, and I have never been better as I am now than I was back then. Because back then, the amount of medication that I was on left me in bed for almost, yeah, weeks on end. Like it wasn't hours or anything. It was literally weeks on end because I was either too incapacitated because of the amount of painkillers and substances I was on to be able to cognitively think correctly, or I was so out of it and knocked out, I was literally a zombie. So I had to do something about it and remove myself from it. So I removed the medication, found some herbal ulterior like altercations and stuff like that, and now I am where I am now, and I've never been better. It's honestly an absolute godsend. Hey Dan, how are you? What's been going on with you today? I'm doing some simple card pulls. If you'd like me to pull two cards for you, I'm just reading the energy of the day. Not bad at all. And 100%, a little thing about the reason why it was illegalized as well is because of the severe benefits that this plant has. It would have damaged the coal industry, it would have damaged the oil industry, it would have damaged the hemp and like the clothing industry and the cotton industry. So it's illegal because the major corporations realize the benefits, not only the health benefits that have been used from it for centuries, and that would have taken away from the PBS schemes and the pharmaceutical schemes, therefore taking trillions of dollars out of their pockets. The big companies got together and went, no. And it's illegal because of you guys in America. It is illegal globally because of you guys in America and the flower power movement and all of that sort of stuff. It became illegal because people were using it as a form of freedom, a form of rehabilitation, a form of building, a form of clothing, a form of everything that required nothing of the government. Come on, come on, Diesel. Come on, come on, come on. Over here. All right. The other funny thing about marijuana is it grows natively on every single continent in the world. It has its own strain and its own species and its own form of medicinal qualities and strengths. Every single continent has its own native variant of it. It's the horrible truth of why this medicinal beauty is illegal because it builds houses. It builds cars. You can literally create plastic from it and build an entire car that does not have to be farmed from the ground. You do not need oil or grease because this plant is its own oil and grease and create its own plastic. Henry Ford created his own hemp car. You can look this up on YouTube. You can look this up on the interweb. Henry Ford, the creator of the Ford automobile, created his own hemp vehicle that was built from hemp plastic, created from hemp materials, and ran on hemp fuel. It was a car that ran off of one product and was created by one product. I do think there was steel in it, so technically that is a lie, but in all reality, a steel is the frame force of a car, but everything else was built from plastic. However, it may have been built from the hemp itself because hemp is an incredibly tensile and strong material. It's very, sorry, pardon me, very fire retardant, absolutely everything beneficial towards the industry. And he would have made billions and trillions off of it. However, the rest of the automotive industry made it illegal. It's all about control of the monopoly. And I'll probably be shadow banned for saying any of this, but that's completely okay because I have my trusty, faithful followers, and that's all I worry about because you guys are my family and my community. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. Oh my God, that is absolutely brilliant. I would love to speak to you more about that off of live because I'm so fascinated about the medicinal qualities of the plant because I do make my own tinctures. You're very welcome. But yeah, definitely look up Henry Ford's hemp automobile. You'll be pleasantly surprised at what you find. Okay, if you've got any more questions, feel free to ask, but I'm going to be live for another 5 minutes and then I'll be jumping off and then I'll be getting to work in the garden because I do have a lot of work to do. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I completely agree. If it wasn't for literally the oil that I make myself smoking it and the body butter that I use with a combination of beeswax and essential oils, using the oil that I ingest, I would be in so much pain still. I would be in so much pain. I actually don't think, aside from ibuprofen, I have relied on pharmaceutical medication, including cold remedies and treatments, for over since I left my ex-husband. So that would be 2 years now. Because I used to have that sort of medication in the cupboard for him because he wasn't open to the herbal remedies and applications of herbal-based medicine. But since I've removed myself from everything but ibuprofen, which I do need every now and then for the inflammation with my body, because unfortunately, as a spoonie, It is very beneficial sometimes to have something that is designed to reduce inflammation. And I have, beside the very bad head cold I had about a month ago, I haven't been sick. I actually have not been sick. I wish I could say it was CBD oil, but unfortunately I don't have access to CBD crops. However, I do have plants with 14% CBD and 27% THC, and that's what I use for my medication. So it is high CBD, but it's definitely THC medication. But at the same time, with my physical conditions, THC medication is actually what I would prefer to treat myself with than CBD. Because I was involved in a hit and run on April Fool's Day 7 years ago and completely shattered in here. And I lost the use of my hand. So when it comes to the range of motion, that's what I have before it starts to hurt. And because of that and the severe damage in there, this is the reason why I use THC based, is I would not wish Parkinson's on anybody in my life. Nerve damage and the scar tissue grows over nerves in my wrist, which causes my hand to periodically spasm, twitch, drop. It literally has a mind of its own and I cannot control it. However, if I didn't have the medication that I'm on and what I like to just relax with, I wouldn't be able to hold anything. I would not be able to hold anything with my left hand at all. And I used to be left-handed. Absolutely, as well. You definitely do. And people don't realize that when they get full CBD-based medication. Like, it's not working. And that's because, for a very core reason, they've taken out the element that binds it together to the fat proteins in your body cells to in order the inoculation and proper absorption ratios. But yeah, without the THC, I would constantly twitch. And because I have high THC, I actually can't remember the last time I had a big twitch and broke something. Hey, Veronica. If you're free, would you like to join me? I'm online for another 10 minutes because I'm jumping off when it hits 12 o'clock. Absolutely. And what I'm smoking, by the way, is bottoms. I don't tend to like to smoke a lot of tops because I don't like that cloud.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. I have a ruddy. If you hear screeching, that's what that is.
Oh, you at the boys' house, are you?
Yeah, I've got work today. Well, I hopefully have work today.
So, as I was saying to you before, and honest to God, I am so sorry. I didn't realize the connection issues were so bad. But feel free to ask me any questions. You know me better than most. Ask me the hard questions about what I do and what people should know about me. Aside from the fact that I smoke a lot and I'm going to have another one. Hello, gorgeous boy.
This is Roddy. Prince Marble Cake.
Oh my God, he is stunning.
He's a
But
bit of a nightmare.
yeah, so what should people know about me? Oh, he would. Bengals are those sort of cats. So like what's ask me the question that you think I should answer first.
I'm trying to stick away from the generic one because there are a lot of very surprising facts. Have you spoken much about the effects of like rainwater and growing your own food and that sort of thing? Because
No, I have not
the
actually.
noticeable difference.
Like,
Because you should definitely post some before and after photos if you've got any old
well,
photos of
actually,
yourself
I
from
was
like a
just
few years
talking
ago.
to the people on my live right now about how I used to look before I moved out here, how sick I used to also look before I got my diagnosis of protein intolerance. Do you want to tell them a little about that? Because you're a third party. Like, you saw me when I was at my worst, when I was a spoonie. And now
Oh,
that I know what's
yeah,
wrong with me,
the iron deficiency thing was really bad. Like back before you went vegetarian years and years and years ago, like
it was just
red meat
always
in
so
particular,
elevated.
even like the smell of it would almost make you throw up. It was that bad. And anything iron rich, like even spinach or a lot of vegan protein that has a lot of iron
I
supplements in it, would always set off your stomach and make you feel like really
And
lethargic
the
and like
and
you
the
just wanted to go
irony
home
is
straight
now,
away.
though, since I completely removed the meat from my diet, those products no longer affect me because it was just, as I explained to everybody else earlier in this, it was the protein intolerance, and because I was absorbing things that my body couldn't digest, all of the vitamins and minerals in my body were going completely haywire, as Veronica was saying. But now I can actually eat those vegan iron high supplements and not actually get sick. However, if I was to start to consume meat again, my body would then start storing everything incorrectly again. And it also caused my hair, as Veronica remembers, to start falling out too because it started to get so severe that just being so sick all the time is what the main reason why I'm bald.
Well, by choice now, isn't it? Because
Absolutely
the
by choice now.
rainwater and yeah, because the rainwater has unclogged all of your pores and now your hair grew back. It's like
Yeah,
it's
so my
magic what
hair,
it can do. It's
it is,
amazing.
it literally is. So being on rainwater now and eating the food that I'm growing out of the garden too has been so much better for my body, especially for my hair, because I used to have a luscious, very thick set of hair on my head, but since I've now gone on rainwater, I could actually technically grow it back. There's no more chemicals in it anymore either, so I'm no longer getting rashes in my skin because I also have terribly, terribly sensitive skin to go with all of my other medical conditions. It's honestly, my life sucks, but so does everyone else's,
Ow,
and we can all
Roddy! Ow!
sympathize with
Ow!
that.
Ow!
Did he just bite you?
Yeah, really hard.
Oh my God, cats! You gotta love them, gotta love them. Pets are so unpredictable. But now because I'm on rainwater and I'm only using like applications and stuff like that I make myself to clean my skin, to clean my hair, and to treat my skin, I have now, for the first time, tanned in years. I'm putting weight on as well because us, like Veronica, how thin did I used to be?
I mean, I wouldn't. You were definitely underweight, but you weren't like skinny, skinny. It was more so that you just had like no energy, and it really, really showed like in your eyes, in your face, in your skin, and in
I
your physique as
constantly used
well.
to
Like
have
your
bags
bones used
down
to
to
stick
here.
out a lot more. Like you didn't have a lot
Hmm.
of. Why is my camera off? You didn't have as much muscle definition as you do now, and like the muscle you did have, yet like I said, it just didn't really. Your bones stuck out a lot more. You definitely looked as tired as you were. But
And
then
I
as you
really,
started
really, really
making
was.
lifestyle changes, bit by bit, the first one was going vegetarian, the second one was moving out rural, and then the rainwater, everything that followed, it just sort of
Has just
progressively like got better and better until your hair started growing back. And I've got another theory about that as well. The CBD oil that, ow, Roddy,
the
no.
CBD oil that I constantly use over my entire body. Yeah, I
Um,
honestly think that's got a major role to do with it too.
well, I also think if it's, oh my God, I'm
I think
getting
you might have to
pictured
kick
by
him
this.
out.
I'm getting pictured. I am gonna kick him out. He's really annoying. If it's supplemented any pharmaceutical medication, that is also probably a big reason why your skin and your hair looks a lot better and your eyes look brighter.
Yeah, because I'm not on any pharmaceutical medication at all anymore. I've actually been able to completely remove myself from the need of pharmaceutical medication by doing a complete and utter lifestyle change. It's like I don't have anything against pharmaceutical medication at all. A lot of people need it and a lot of people require it in order to survive. I was able to make the changes where I no longer needed it Like in the future, I most likely will, and every now and then I do rely on my ibuprofen to help with the inflammation, but currently I don't require it at the moment. But any other questions you'd like to ask for everybody else watching?
Actually, yeah, how much of your
Hi, Bam.
food comes directly from the farm? Like how much of it do you grow slash hatch, etc., etc.?
Well, at the moment, I am only producing herbs that are going into my diet because I've only been out here for half a season. So I've only been out here for 8 to 9 months. The majority of that was spent building, and now I'm only starting to put my crops in. But I'm
Yep.
hoping by the end of this year, absolutely, absolutely, I agree, Shelley-Ann. But I'm hoping by the end of this year that I'll have at least transitioned to 60% grown straight from the ground out front of my house. And then in 2 to 3 years, I'm hoping to transition to 100% fully sustained out of my own garden off the farm.
Oh yeah, on that, one more actually. What out of all of the ways you cook at your house, what is your absolute favorite?
Honestly, I'd have to say in the fireplace, throwing some potatoes, carrots, and vegetables on the
Good old
hot
camp
coals,
style
can't
cooking.
beat it. Literally
Yeah,
camp style cooking. It's one of the
I
benefits
was
that I've
so
noticed since
hoping you'd
moving out
say
here.
that because you've got like the best of both worlds. You've got all the fancy stuff. You've got like a wood fire oven if you want pizza. You've got a normal
hmm
stovetop, a normal oven. You've got the
Well, the
best
wood
of
fire
both
oven's
worlds.
still in construction,
Yeah, that's why I was
but
really curious. I'm like, if you can do it
I've got
all,
the
what would be
fireplace.
your favorite way to do it? Because I don't know what I would do. I mean, I live in the CBD, unfortunately, so I've only got a kitchen and that's it. I can't have fires or
Honestly, I
anything.
have to say cooking in the fire is by far my favorite option because I get that wood smoke flavor and you just can't
Mm-hmm.
replicate that with anything. You
Can't.
cannot replicate a wood smoke flavor unless you've cooked it on a wood fire.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm gonna go have a smoke, but just turn my camera off and stay on live. Good
That's right.
talking.
I'm actually going to jump off live now for everybody. Thank you all for joining me, but it is lunchtime and I swore to myself that I would get into the garden by 12 o'clock and start laying some more limestone. So it was lovely chatting to you and lovely talking to everybody else in the stream. So I'm going to let you go and you have yourself a lovely afternoon. And I've got a
Ciao,
cool
ciao.
Umi as well. So I'll say hi to her for you. All right, so ciao for now, everybody, and I'll be doing a lot more of these lives. And if you ever want to be a part of my stream, let me know.
I'll happily send an invite through to you. If not, feel free just to talk to me through the stream as you do. But until then, I'm going to let you go and I'm going to let myself go because I do need to get into the garden and not waste this beautiful day because it's 26 degrees and I want to get gardening done. So, ciao for now and bye, everybody.